What makes a boxer is not only his interesting undefeated record, it is about giving your fans the fight they want and making a good performance when fight night comes. But apparently, Tank seems to be telling us to cry about it. After his announcement that he will be fighting Lamont Roach instead of, well, everyone else you know of, Tank has received a lot of backlash from the pros, telling him that this might be just how he loses fans.
Not many people are aware of who he is or his ability, but he can fight. I don't think it's a huge fight, but not a terrible.
A name we for sure knew would not fail to comment on this one was Teofimo Lopez, who himself had expressed his desire to fight Tank in a rather interesting way.
Which one of those two fights interests you more, Gervonta Davis or Terrence Crawford?
Whichever monkey wants to get the banana.
You said which monkey wants the banana first?
Bro, that sounds racist, man. Nah, but hey, listen to everyone. Look, I'm talking about two fighters that are the best at what they do just as much as I do. I'm not talking about people's color. I'm really just trying to get at these guys so they can at least bark a little bit so we can make a fight.
Well, apart from his controversial call-out, he came back with a lot to say after he heard about who Tank was fighting. Tank's just avoiding real challenges at this point, Lopez said. Look, I'm not saying Roach is a bad fighter, but when you've got the lightweight division packed with killers, why pick a guy from a lower weight class? It feels like Tank is ducking real competition. Lopez, who himself rose to stardom by taking bold fights, continues to call out fighters like Davis for their safe decisions. According to Teofimo, Tank's legacy is in jeopardy if he continues down this path of selecting easier opponents rather than the tough matchups fans crave, like a bout against Vasily Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson, or even himself.
Amount of times already, I jumped out that box and done that. So I have yet to see Gervonta come out of that box yet. You know what I'm saying? They're about to put him with a guy at 130 pounds. Whether he's a champion or not, you're getting a guy lighter than you to come up and weight to make you look good again.
Teofimo wasn't alone in his criticism. Shakur Stevenson, another prominent figure in the lightweight division, shared the same thoughts, although with a touch more diplomacy. I respect Tank, I really do, but fighting Lamont Roach? I just don't get it, Shakur said. We could have been in the ring already, Tank and me. I was ready for that fight. The fans wanted it, the money was there, but somehow it never happened. Now he's fighting a junior lightweight. It just feels like he's not chasing greatness like he could. Shakur's thirst for a fight with Tank is not even new to us. He has long been seen as a natural rival to Davis. Their heated exchanges on social media fueled hope that a mega fight would materialize between them. But that potential showdown seems farther away now with Tank's upcoming bout against Roach. It's frustrating, Stevenson continued, because there's a lot of respect between us. But at the same time, you have to question why these fights aren't happening. Is it because he's avoiding me? Maybe, but I won't stay quiet. Tank needs to step up if he wants to prove he's the best.
But I just want to ask the hardcore Tank Davis fans, is this the fight that y'all wanted? Is this what y'all was looking for? This what y'all was willing to, ready to pay your money for? And is what y'all was clamoring for? I know it's a lot of Tank fans talking about, well, who else he was going to fight? I mean, I don't think Shakur Stevenson ever got an actual contract, an actual offer where you can accept it or turn it down from Tank Davis. He's a champion in Tank's division. You know what I'm saying? Is this what y'all wanted?
Even the brash and often controversial Rolly Romero weighed in on Tank's upcoming fight, offering his own unique take on the situation. Romero scoffed at the notion of Davis fighting Roach. Man, this is a typical Tank, Romero said. He talks a big game, but when it comes to actually getting in the ring with real dogs, suddenly it's a different story. He wants to play it safe. He knows what happens if he steps in with someone like me again. We all saw what happened last time. Romero's reference to their past bout added fuel to the fire, as the two had already shared an intense rivalry inside and outside the ring. According to Raleigh, this upcoming fight is just another example of Tank dodging the real threats in the division. It's not about fighting the best anymore, it's about staying undefeated. But where's the glory in that? Fight the best or don't call yourself the best, Romero concluded. Adding to the chorus of dissent is Keyshawn Davis, one of the hottest prospects in the sport who has never been shy about his desire to face Tank Davis. Keyshawn, who has consistently called out Tank, seemed perplexed by Tank's decision to fight Roach. "I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I want that fight with Tank," Keyshawn declared confidently, but instead, he's picking a fight with a junior lightweight. Why? What's the point? There's no risk for him there. He's playing it safe when he should be pushing himself to the limit. The best fight the best, and I'm ready for Tank whenever he wants it. Keyshawn's words just expanded on the frustration felt by many in the boxing world, where the demand for high-stakes matchups has reached an all-time high. The lightweight division is stacked with talent, and many believe Tank should be solidifying his legacy by taking on the best of the best. If Tank really wants to be remembered as one of the greatest, he has to fight guys like me, Shakur, Teofimo, all the top dogs in the division. That's what this sport is about, testing yourself against the very best, Keyshawn said, his ambition clear in every word. The announcement of Tank's bout with Roach seems like a missed opportunity for Davis to cement his status as the king of the lightweight division. There's no doubt that Roach is a skilled fighter, but in the eyes of many, including former champions and contenders, the fight lacks the drama and excitement of a true test. While Roach presents an interesting stylistic challenge with his crafty approach and solid chin, he doesn't possess the kind of firepower or reputation that would elevate Tank's legacy in a meaningful way. Many boxing experts have voiced their opinions on Tank's decision to fight Roach. They see this as a pattern in Davis's career, one where he chooses fights that keep him in the spotlight but don't necessarily challenge him in the way that fans and fighters alike expect from someone of his caliber.
As an attraction, you might, who knows, maybe you might get a call from Tank or something. You know,
for sure. Tank's my guy too, man. I appreciate him shouting me out after the win. And you know what's crazy? After he beat Hector, I told him.
Even Paulie Malignaggi, a former champion and now a well-known boxing analyst, expressed his disappointment over the matchup. "Look, Roach is a good fighter, but this isn't a pay-per-view fight," Malignaggi said. "If you're Gervonta Davis, a guy who's supposed to be the face of boxing, you don't fight a guy like Roach when the lightweight division is as stacked as it is. There are bigger names, bigger challenges, and Tank should be taking those on. It feels like he's just playing it safe." Malignaggi's words ring true for many. While the fight may attract some attention due to Tank's star power, it lacks the electricity that a true high-stakes showdown would bring. The boxing world is clamoring for a fight between the top lightweights, and until that happens, Tank's legacy will remain under scrutiny.
We got Tank and Roach, man. I mean, of course, I got Tank, you know what I'm saying, by KO. Easy work. Probably gonna be early, too. You know, everybody mad. He picked Lamont Roach. But this is like a stay busy fight. This is like a tune-up fight for him. Everybody want to see him in a big fight. All his fights, they want to see him big fight. Every fight they want him to be.
The history between Tank Davis and Lamont Roach runs deep, with their rivalry tracing back to their amateur days. These two men, both 29 years old, have faced each other twice before, during some of the most pivotal moments of their early careers. While Davis won both encounters, there's a lot more beneath the surface that makes their upcoming third clash intriguing. For Roach, their amateur rivalry is still fresh in his mind, and he remains adamant that their first fight, at least, was questionable. Roach, now boasting a solid professional record of January 1st, 25, recently opened up about these past encounters during an interview with Broadway Joel. He didn't shy away from expressing his frustration over the first of their two amateur fights. "I fought Gervonta Davis twice in the amateurs. I lost both times. The first one was a little fishy," Roach explained, referring to the first time they squared off at the Regional Junior Olympics. According to Roach, the fight took place in Davis's hometown of Baltimore, a setting that he feels might have played a role in the outcome. "No, they both are on YouTube. You can go watch them," he added, almost as if daring people to see for themselves and draw their own conclusions.
I fought Tank twice. I lost both times. The first one was a little. No, both they on YouTube. You could go watch them.
Yeah, I got you.
So,
first one's a little fishy.
The first one I fought him in Baltimore. The first one was in the national. I mean, it was in the regional junior Olympics. And,
okay.
My dad sent the tape to USA Boxing, and they was like, "Well, we're going to give you a grant to go to the nationals." We both in the nationals. We made it to the championship. We fought in the championship.
Oh man, That's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. And he beat me in the championship. So he won gold, I won silver that year.
Roach's claim that the first fight was fishy didn't go unnoticed. Even the host of the interview, Broadway Joel, couldn't help but agree, suggesting that the first fight indeed seemed more questionable than the second. Roach agreed, recounting how his father had sent the tape to USA Boxing, the governing body for amateur boxing in the US. After reviewing the footage, they decided to grant Roach a slot at the national championships, acknowledging that perhaps the first bout didn't fully reflect the skills and potential he showed. Roach remembered it vividly. The first one, I fought him, was at Baltimore in the Regional Junior Olympics. My dad sent the tape to USA Boxing. Despite the controversy surrounding their first encounter, fate brought the two fighters together once again. This time, at the national championships, Roach and Davis both reached the finals, setting the stage for a rematch with even higher stakes. As Roach recalled, we both made it to nationals. We made it to the championship. We fought for the championship. He beat me in the championship, so he won gold, and I won silver that year. For Roach, losing to Davis for a second time didn't dampen his spirit. In fact, it seemed to fuel his drive to succeed in the sport.
Stop closing up. Gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around.
He finished his amateur career with an impressive 125-15 record and quickly transitioned to the professional ranks, where he's since carved out a name for himself. But despite his success, the shadow of those two losses to Davis has always lingered. And now, after years of anticipation, the two men are set to meet for the third time, this time on the biggest stage yet. However, as with any highly anticipated fight, there's been a wave of criticism surrounding the matchup. Many fans have questioned why Davis, a dominant force in the lightweight division with a perfect 30-0 record, would choose to fight Roach, a junior lightweight title holder with less experience at this level.
They got amateur history. They fought maybe 2 or 3 times. Tank being the winner. They sparred a few times. Tank got the best of the sparring. They just bigger and stronger now, you know? Older.
But Gervonta Davis's longtime trainer, Calvin Ford, was quick to defend the decision to fight Roach. In a conversation with Fight Hype, Ford explained the reasoning behind the choice. He pointed out that Davis and Roach have known each other for years, dating back to their amateur days, and that there's a familiarity between the two fighters that adds a layer of intrigue to the matchup. They've been knowing each other since the amateurs, the silver gloves, and everything. They grew up with each other, Ford said, emphasizing the deep-rooted history between the two fighters. Ford also highlighted that Roach didn't shy away from the opportunity to fight Davis. Everybody's talking all that stuff. Why Roach? Because he took the fight and it's good for the community, Ford added. According to Ford, Roach's willingness to step into the ring with Davis speaks volumes about his character and ambition. Roach, despite being the underdog, is known for his skillful approach in the ring, and Ford believes that this fight will showcase just how much both fighters have evolved since their amateur days.
It's going to be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying, because Roach he come to fight, and I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about, why Roach? Because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying, and it's good for the community.
The fans, however, remain divided. Some feel that this is yet another instance of Davis picking an opponent from a lower weight class, which has become a point of contention for many of his critics. Davis's previous bouts with fighters from lower divisions, while impressive in their own right, have led some to question whether he's avoiding the bigger names in his own division. The lightweight division is stacked with talent, including fighters like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez, all of whom have expressed interest in facing Davis. Yet for the third time in a row, Davis has chosen to fight someone from a lower division. Despite the criticism, there's no denying that Roach brings something unique to the table. As Calvin Ford mentioned, Roach never backs down from an exchange, and he's more than willing to engage in a fight. This makes the matchup intriguing, especially given the history between the two fighters. Roach may not have the same firepower as Davis, but he's crafty, skilled, and determined to make the most of this opportunity.
Gervonta Davis is a fucking pussy because instead of fighting Jose Valenzuela or Teofimo Lopez, he is fighting a complete nobody, Lamont Roach. Who the fuck is Lamont Roach? Lamont Roach has beaten...
Roach's experience in their past fights could play a role in the outcome of their upcoming bout. While Davis has grown into one of the most feared knockout artists in the sport, Roach has honed his own craft, becoming a well-rounded and versatile fighter. Their previous meetings, particularly the one at the national championships, may have given Roach valuable insight into Davis's strengths and weaknesses. If Roach can tap into that experience and bring something new to the table, he may be able to surprise Davis and the rest of the boxing world. Kenny Ellis, Gervonta Tank, Davis's coach, did not hold back when defending Davis against criticism for choosing Lamont Roach Jr. as his next opponent. Ellis acknowledged the concerns but quickly pointed out that Roach is no pushover. He reminded critics that Roach is a 7-time national champion and has a solid professional record of January 1st, 25. Although Roach lost to Jamel Herring a few years ago, Ellis was careful to highlight that this loss does not define him. Roach can fight, Ellis said in an interview with Fight Hype, emphasizing that Roach's background and amateur achievements make him a legitimate threat. Roach has fought at a high level, and his amateur accolades speak to his ability to hang with top-tier competition, even if his professional career hasn't reached the same heights as Davis's. Still, Ellis was realistic about Roach's limitations. He openly admitted that Roach, who has 10 knockouts in his 25 wins, doesn't pack the same kind of punch that Davis does. The power disparity between the two fighters is stark, with Davis, known for his devastating knockout ability, regularly dismantling opponents in the ring. Ellis pointed out that this lack of knockout power is something fans are aware of, and it's one of the reasons why many people are skeptical of the matchup. However, Ellis still believes Roach poses a challenge. He can't punch, Ellis said, but he followed up by noting that Roach's technical skills, not just power, are what make him a formidable opponent.
Is it true? You did want to see him get some work with Boots? I saw in the interview. Yeah, I'm gonna call Boots. You gonna call him? I'm gonna call him.
One of the criticisms surrounding Roach is that his recent performances haven't been overwhelmingly convincing. Last year, Roach barely edged out a victory over Hector Luis Garcia, a fighter whom Davis knocked out with ease in 2023. For many fans, this comparison makes Roach look even less like a serious threat, but Ellis urged people not to focus too much on that fight alone. Boxing isn't always about how fighters perform against common opponents. Ellis acknowledged Roach's struggle against Garcia, but suggested that styles make fights, and Roach's approach in the ring could still cause problems for Davis, despite Davis's dominance over Garcia. Ellis also touched on the long history between Davis and Roach, pointing out the times they fought in the amateurs, with Davis coming out on top each time. He said they fought in the amateurs 2 or 3 times, with Tank being the winner. Ellis also mentioned that the two fighters have sparred together several times since their amateur days. According to Ellis, the sparring sessions went much like their amateur fights, with Davis consistently getting the better of Roach. They sparred a few times. Tank got the best of the sparring, Ellis remarked, reinforcing his belief that Davis has always had the upper hand.
Man. Kill it.
Despite the past outcomes, Ellis isn't taking Roach lightly, and he doesn't want the fans to either. He believes that their shared history in the amateurs and sparring could actually make this fight more interesting. Roach knows what to expect from Davis, and he's familiar with Davis's style, which means Roach may come into the fight with a strategic plan based on those experiences. Even though Davis has beaten him before, Roach has likely learned from those encounters and might bring something new to the table. Ellis suggested that Roach's familiarity with Davis could make this fight more competitive than people anticipate. Ultimately, Ellis's defense of Davis's choice to fight Roach boils down to respect for Roach's skill set and a recognition of their long-standing rivalry. While Ellis acknowledged Roach's flaws, such as his lack of knockout power and his struggles in some recent fights, He also emphasized that Roach has the technical ability and the heart to make this a legitimate contest. For Ellis, this fight isn't about Davis taking an easy route. It's about Davis taking on someone who knows him well and who has the skills to push him in the ring. And for that reason, Ellis believes fans should not be so quick to dismiss Roach as just another stepping stone in Davis's career.
It's frustrating for him not to be able to get these big marquee fights that he deserves.
I'm sure, you know, that I don't think he's upset, but as long as he get a fight, he good. He just like to fight. You know, if those guys choose to fight on one day, then they can get it. But if not, life goes on, you know?
In the end, Gervonta Davis may walk away from his fight with Lamont Roach with another win on his record. But will it be a win that makes sense to fans? Will it be a win that elevates his legacy? Or will it be seen as yet another instance of a fighter avoiding the biggest challenges in the sport? Well, what do you think? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.